AC Bike Shop, and in today's video we're going to be talking about chains. Chains are the main thing that makes your bike run. Without this, you're going nowhere. Alright? Now this thing connects to two key things. One, your crankset, and two, your cassette. Now this may look familiar as it is usually connected to your back wheel, and this is usually connected to a set of pedals, and this is what goes right underneath you. If we take a walk over here to one of my experimental builds, you will see that here is a crankset that the chain is connected to, along with the cassette that is attached to the wheel, as I had said. A chain is basically many linkages that are put together to form this long chain, but they have moving parts built in within them. And I'm so excited to show you that in just 1 second. As seen with this demonstration bike, you can see the chain going through this crankset, through a derailleur, and then over top and under the cassette, and then back to the crankset. This is how chain works. You don't want it under too much tension, because then it will snap. But if you have it under too less of tension, it's just gonna rub against your frame, might get caught in your wheel. It's not ideal. And it might even slip off your crankset. I will remind everybody for what I'm going to do, this is a test bike. This is not for production, this is for experimental purposes. Now, we need to get the beast up here. And snap. Love editing magic. But here it is, the absolute beast. And this is what we're going to put our chain on to today. If you find this video helpful, please drop a subscribe and a like. This will help me and you in future videos. First step to this process, you need to get yourself a master link. I typically go with quick release master links that go to the coordinated speed that is written on the chain. This is an 8-speed chain, so it requires an 8-speed master link. This is what a master link looks like. This connects two pieces of metal together. Now, if we were to bring this master link, put it through this tiny hole, now this is attached to this. And this master link would go on the opposing hole of the chain. And it would slide on once you get them connected through this small little hole and then slide like up. And it would lock those two pieces of metal together, and it would take a lot of tension to get them back off. Here is what a master link looks like when it's on a bike. I put this on earlier as a demonstration. Here is what the master links would look like if they were on your chain. You have two opposing sides, and they would slide together like this. Now, due to these not fitting, because this is a 10-speed link on a 20-speed chain, it will not work. However, if you get these two locked in like this, put tension, and if it was the correct master link, it would just click on and it would fit. But they are not matching sizes, and that would not work. I will make a separate video on how to put a chain onto your bike, but I'm going to show you how to put a master link on. Now, this is typically the setup I like to do once I get the chain on, so you can work around here and here. I use a zip tie because these two are under pressure. And here is what it would look like once you release that pressure. That thing would fly up, your master link would go flying into the wall. Not a good day. So that is why we use zip ties. You want to slide that side on, and then you want to slide this side on. Alright, now it does fall out sometimes, so be very wary of that. You want to be very delicate with this process. Now that you got these two nubs, which is right here, inside of each other, now we're going to bring it to the ground and take this zip tie off. Now we got the bike down, let's move it somewhere where it's not all cluttered. Now that we have the bike on the ground and the master links in, we now have to cut this, get on, and demonstrate how you want to lock these in without making them go loose and go flying. Now that we have the bike on the ground and the master link in, we now have to cut this zip tie with keeping this from tensioning and flying off, and then I'll show you the movement and what you have to do to make that snap and lock on. Okay, now that we have all this together, I'm now going to snip this right here. Now you can see the chain is under tension. Now that it is under tension, this is like a timed mission. Now watch as I get up, walk around the bike. Now this is a process. This is a process, look at me. Now, you would get on your bike. Hopefully, you do it without making the master link slide out. If it does, you don't panic. You would set your pedal to almost high dead center. You would mount on your bike. You would come along to this side, and if you can see my foot, you would put your foot down and apply pressure like this. If that is correct, I believe our master link is locked in. All right, now that we have done that, let's check the process. As you see, I put pressure down and it snapped these two master links together. They are now one. And now you have yourself a full functioning bike. That is how you put a master link on, folks. Good night.